hidden.
It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello, and we're doing this on a Monday. That's why we just are. It's beginning of the week and our weekend's gone. So I'd like to pop over to the other screen in the corner. I'd like to present my co-host, Go-Clud. He's got an amazing channel, loves science fiction. Yeah, and if you want to buy one of them, they're $10.99. And if you want to, he will put on a full Star Trek uniform for 50 quid. So
Yeah,
I was Martin by the gods of science fiction. And over to you.
I'm in the power of YouTube. Hello, Martin. Nice to speak to you. How are you?
I've set up my Strange New Worlds review. I've only just set it up on editing line, but I've added the Klingon singing as the intro.
Oh, yeah.
I've loaded it. I took the clip, I loaded it up. It went through on YouTube. It's only 37 seconds.
Okay, that'd be cool. I was going to say, we're going to focus this week on Strange New Worlds. Now it's finished, literally only finished a few days ago. And this is the first time we've actually started talking about it. Martin only just saw it last night from his perspective. I saw it last Thursday, so I saw it quite promptly. Because I'm terrible at Star Trek. I can't wait. I've got to watch it, literally. I hate people spoiling it. And a shout out to Tom Julian, former co-host, who spoiled part of the actual episode on Facebook and saying, just to let you know, and then he puts Scotty on it. So he did spoil that a certain Montgomery Scott, the third iteration of the character by a Scottish actor apparently, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, it wasn't a big spoiler, but I was just like,
oh, is he Scottish?
Wait a bit. Yeah, he's Scottish apparently. Yeah.
Oh, he's Scottish then. Oh, yeah,
he lives. I don't know. I think he lives in Canada, but he's the first actor to be a Scotsman playing the Scottish character. Because Simon Pegg was English, and
James Stone was Canadian.
Was Canadian, yeah, exactly like William Shatner was Canadian. So, obviously we're going to talk about the series in general for season 2, but let's quickly ask, because it's only just gone by, what did you think of the season finale of Strange New World season 2?
Well, I waited. I watched it Sunday night, you see.
How can you wait that long?
I don't know. I like to watch it like Sunday because Sunday. I suppose it's a family thing, really, because like my family, they used to all get together and watch videos on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm. That's quite nice. Honestly, you've held that over from when you used that. Yeah,
every Sunday. And my two brothers they were doing it. And so I don't know, Sunday, it's like film day. It's catch up on stuff like watching stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm not out, so I watched some stuff yesterday, and then I put it on at that final part. Put that on at 10 o'clock, and I did watch the musical episode. I'm quite fascinated by that.
I liked it. I like the musical episode.
I've seen it 3 times now.
I've seen it twice. And it works well. It worked well.
So totally fascinated by it, and I ended up watching it, and I got into it, and it was very like the sneaked in Scotty. I thought when I heard Scottish accent, I thought, they brought bloody Scotty in now. So it's like they're up. I think
they're going to be doing that. They're trying to dovetail with the original series, and this is what they're doing now. We've got, although the actor who plays Scotty is a bit too young for the character, he should be a bit older. But okay, whatever. The actor did well. Yeah, I think he pulled it off. But I like the fact that this is transitioning into the original series, even though it's what 5 years away from. Where no one's gone 10. Before the first no, it's not. I don't think it's quite as much as 10. I think it's like 7, 5. I don't know.
5 or 7.
Say 5 to 7. I think. I don't. He might be right there. But it's actually very, very good because it's got a very solid cast. What they've really tried to do this year is like shout out to my mate Malcolm, old school buddy, and he sent me a big long message about this season finale. I don't know whether you'd mind if I read some of it out, because I have read some before, but he was not impressed, shall we say, with it. What did he say? Oh, this is so funny. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mark. I've got to read this right. It says, "Don't get me wrong. I like Strange New Worlds, and I agree that this is what Trek is now. But I think the story is declining, and I think that because the writers aren't good enough, take away the crutches of fan callbacks and realise that their wow moments were what they are, and the writing is done of the weakest we've seen yet. The sets are fantastic. The actors are all great, but to fully suspend disbelief over continuity errors, they need to replace the writers with competent people. Had this been New Trek and Discovery had never happened, I fear it wouldn't have been as well received. Leagues better than Discovery, but less than it is now. I think it's riding the wave of fan disappointment over how bad Discovery was, to be honest. It may get better, but to be honest, I personally think it's a masterclass in why a series should be 24 episodes a year, which we agree we need more episodes. We're 2 years in and not even match the length of season 1 lengths of the original Trek, which is about 30. I think it's about 28 episodes for season 1 of the original series. And it took all 4 of them at least 3 seasons to find their feet. At this rate, we'll be at season 6/7 before Strange New Worlds has given us the same time to become one with the crew, and it'll end or be cancelled long before then. He goes on a bit more about it, but he does have some points about the length of the show. But I think that in Strange New Worlds' defence, I think that the actors and characters have actually stepped up and come up to par quite quickly, quicker than, say, like the Next Generation, which were terrible in the first season. They really hadn't settled
Season
yet.
1 and 2 were dodgy.
Right, and that was
Next Generation, once till season 3.
And that was about 50 episodes.
Right.
That was about 50 episodes for season, right? So they've only done 20 episodes now for 2 seasons,
and they've conquered
I think
it.
they've done pretty good.
I think he's got. I accept him as Christopher Pike now. I'd absolutely love his character, and he plays. He's a very human type of person as well. That's what I like about him.
I'm rewatching Discovery season 2 because it's now got 3 of the actual characters and actors: Una, Spock, and Pike.
Yep.
And do you know what? It does make the season a lot better with those 3 in it. It really does. It's actually a lot better. Because obviously, season 1 was the it was very different. Then season 3 they go to the future, but season 2, we've said about this series before, is the strongest of Discovery.
Yeah, the minute he walks into that series,
it really pulled it in.
He took it over. He did.
And it was that one season he was there. Yeah.
I started watching Star Trek Picard season 2 again.
Oh,
I'm on episode 3 now, and I watched first episode, and this time round, I've only seen it once. I've started watching it again, and I watched 3 episodes of it last night. And
they're the best ones, though.
Actually, I'm quite enjoying this.
Yeah. The problem is, I've said this to you before, that they spent about 6 episodes in 2024 in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it's just got too dragged out. And plus the storyline that Picard's mother was unstable and suicidal and all this stuff. And that's the problem. If they'd have actually had episodes 1, 2, and 3, and that maybe had like the last episode, maybe like a 4-episode season, which is ridiculous, but just say it was, I think it would have been much better received. But it was really padded out in the past.
Yeah.
But I like I said, it's weird that
I watched the first 3 last night.
they're really good. They're good.
And I thought this is quite enjoyable because I'm watching it again now at my own pace. And I'm going to watch 3 more. Well, I don't think I will. I've just got Babylon 5.
Oh yeah,
I'll let you know how that is.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. That's cool.
I've got to see what it's about. Even though I'm not a big animated fan.
That's what puts me off. I'm probably not going to watch it. I'll get you to tell me what you thought, because I can't watch animated stuff. I said to you before.
Yeah.
I just don't click with it.
But when I was watching Strange New Worlds last night, I got so into it. I was so engrossed with it. And then it just went to be continued, and I went, what?
Do you know what I've been hoping?
That to be continued,
Yeah.
No.
I keep hoping that they're secretly they've actually filmed the next episode, and they're going to sort of like give us a surprise on Thursday. And we've got an extra episode. I know they wouldn't do that, but it would be a very clever idea. Rather than making us wait for it's going to be over a year until we see part 2. They've not even started filming yet for these bloody strikes. you know, it's a long time to wait, isn't it?
Is there no resolution on the strikes then? Is there no?
There's the two strikes. There's the writers' strike and there's the
Yeah, and the
actors' strike,
actors.
and they're both as far. I think they're back in communication again this week. They've had a 2-week break from all this,
Right.
and now it's going back into, you know, serious discussions about how they can resolve it and how each side is putting their point across. And
Well, I think the actors have. I'm not going to get all political at all, but if they're like forcing some of these like actors to sign away their image, so they can use this technology to bring people in, you know, because this technology is improving more and more now. It is,
Which you can
Indiana
understand.
Jones, it was a new way of doing it. They took old images and laid it over so much with him and Han Solo that they made him look. He was one of the best I've seen.
I was impressed with the Mark Hamill
Yeah.
de-aging in.
Well, they've gone beyond
Boba
that
Fett.
now. They're
Yeah.
beyond that now.
Yeah,
There's this
it's
new
really
method
improving.
coming in.
It's really improving. It's really
Well,
getting there.
if you're an actor, would you? I mean, don't, like in this country, I've got a couple of friends that are actors, like, and they've been in stuff like as an extra or just as. But when a series gets rerun, they do get something. You know what I mean? No, yeah, not all the time, but they do get like if it's something popular and it's in rerun, they get like a fee. But or they sign it all away when they either get a one-off payment when they do a series and that's it. But then, or you can sit back and over years, wherever it gets shown, you get a rerun fee.
That's
think
right.
They are entitled to that. And I think if you or I were an actor, I mean, would you want your image being CGI'd and you're not getting paid for it?
So, what it's okay? So, how would they resolve it? Would it be that basically, if their physical form or their voice is replicated in an artificial way, then they get paid? That's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It's
even if
sort of
they,
like that.
so even if say an actor had died, then this happened with Peter Cushing. When Peter Cushing was recreated in Rogue One, which they did quite not half as good then as it is
that'll
now.
have gone to his family.
So why is that a problem? Why aren't they just
Well,
doing that now?
they will have got permission from his family.
So why not just make it a standard thing that if they want to do the CGI, that there's a standard payment that goes to the people who are running a person or actors' finances.
Yeah. I mean, don't you remember when they wanted to get Leonard Nimoy back for Star Trek: The Motion Picture? He wouldn't do it because and they had to pay him off because he demanded. Do you remember when you were growing up?
He wanted a lot of money. He wanted a lot of money for it.
You know, when you were growing up, you see Star Trek stars like the Dinky Enterprise. You see their images. Well, I don't think they got paid for that. And he made a point. He said, "Look, you've used my image all these years on some stuff. I want the money for it." And so like if when it comes to like. Say like they bring out a cold-blooded action figure, right? You've been in something. I'm just saying as or a by the gods action figure. Yeah, fuck off. right. That you were in a film and you're an action figure, 7-inch action figure, and your pictures. They've got to pay you today for using that. It's like with Star Wars. They've got to, and if it's your image, it's your right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a strange one.
It's a difficult one. I don't have an easy answer to it, but I know that on certain merchandising, they have to pay you for your image and get permission.
So how long do you think this strike is actually going to go on? I mean, obviously we don't know for sure, but I mean...
I wish they'd fucking hurry up and end it, because I can't wait another 2 years for Strange New World.
Well, we're gonna have a big void because we've got Ahsoka starting soon, a week after next. And then that's 8 episodes, and then apparently Skeleton Crew. I think that was going to be shown at the end.
Isn't
of
that animated?
No, that's the live action one with Jude Law.
Is that the one where they end up in Forbidden Zone or something?
It's going to be
that's
like
Star Wars Voyager.
It's more like Star Wars meets Strange New Worlds meets the Goonies. Have you heard about Skeleton Crew?
Yeah, I know. I've heard of it. I always thought they ended up in unknown regions, and then it's about getting back.
Yeah, but it's quite a young cast.
Voyager.
It's quite a young cast apparently, but I mean, Stranger Things it worked, but I know that's been delayed. I think I don't know. There's going to be a big void.
What
of
about
stuff.
the Acolyte then? Is that coming?
I think if I've heard correctly, they have finished filming that, so that can be released. So I think we'll get the two live actions next year: Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte.
What
And
we're
then-
going to do with them?
I don't know what we're going to do. I'm actually going to watch 12 Monkeys, the series, because I've never
I've
seen
heard
that.
about that.
I'm
saw
going to
the
watch
film.
that. No, I've seen the film too, but I want to see the TV version, which is Terry Metalis. I've also got hold of a show which I've heard is really weird. It's slightly comical, but it's surreal. It's called Lex, and I've never
got Lex.
seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Lex,
I've never
yeah,
seen
yeah.
that.
And you're going to
And-
love Lex. It's like
Yeah.
it's like sci-fi porno.
Yeah,
It's,
okay.
it's German and Canadian. Lex
But
is
I've heard it's
fucking
weird.
series.
Yeah, okay, that's what I've heard.
Have you got all 5 seasons?
I think it was 4 seasons, but I've
Is
got
it
them all.
4?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 4.
Have you
yeah,
got
I've
the
them all.
mini series as well?
Yeah, the ones that start. I think it starts up with like 2 or 3 or 4 short films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the whole lot. I'm going to watch the whole lot.
I'm your friend all of a sudden. Hello, I'm Martin. I'm your friend. Do you need anything?
Yeah, I'm going to check that out basically.
You know, Lex is. If you want weird, I'm being serious. Lex was so. When it were made, it was so out of its place for Lex.
I've heard of it.
I love European science fiction. It is.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of
Stanley
European
Tweedle
science
and all
fiction.
this. Yeah.
You don't get a lot of it. So
No,
I'm going
no.
to check that out. So anyway, I digress. We are sort of like going.
Yeah, going off track. Yeah.
But,
so anyway, back to Strange New Worlds.
So
this
yeah,
season. Right,
so
right.
should we watch? Should we just go through each episode and see what you liked about it? I've got the episode
I
listing
think you should.
here.
I think the singing Klingon should be added.
Well, that
I
is,
love
isn't
that
it? That's
scene. I've
episode
watched
9.
it 50 times. That scene.
Yeah, I know.
R&B
right, it is funny.
Klingons. Yeah, it's when he's. I love
And it
his
was done.
face.
It was done by the guy that plays Hemmer as well. It was the actor that plays Hemmer.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like, when the scene comes on, he's fighting it. He's trying not to sing, going, "Arr." and then he goes, and he's like, that was so bizarre.
Have you seen how embarrassed they all are? And the screen just goes off. It's
Yeah.
like- yeah.
Thing is, you see,
fantastic.
this season again has brought back what has been lacking, especially Discovery, comedy. Had a lot of comedy this season. You know, that episode where Spock
Yeah, it works.
becomes
You
human,
can have it all. Yeah.
and
there's-
it really worked well. I think it really was solid. I mean, so the first episode of season 2 was actually what we're going to say, because we'll have to reset Skype in a minute.
Shall we
so I have to
reset
stop
now?
this.
And then
Yeah,
we'll get the
all right.
full-
We'll
let's
reset Skype,
now.
then we'll go through
Yeah.
the episodes, and then otherwise it's going to break up the momentum. So
Right.
we should be back. 1 second. Let's just fade out. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back from our delay. So we're obviously reviewing season 2, Strange New Worlds. So the first episode of the 10-episode season was The Broken Circle, and the synopsis was: a distress call from Lieutenant Noonien Singh compels Spock to disobey orders and take the Enterprise and its crew into disputed space on a rescue mission. This is the episode where we first see the Klingons back, which we've not seen properly since it would have been 2005 in Star Trek Enterprise. So it's been a long time. It's been 18 years. So what did you think about episode 1?
I thought it were very good. I really thought it were very good.
Yeah, I did too.
You know, it's done very well. I thought.
I like the fact that Spock is always like, he's quite good with the Klingons. He's having his blood wine and stuff like that. We saw again that this war, which we saw in Discovery, which really was underplayed. There's still factors in some Klingons wanted to reignite the war and all that sort. Oh, I see. I love your background, by the way. I've just seen the. Just do that. Is that going to be going around in circles? Okay, that's quite cool.
Do you want me? I'll send you the clip after this.
I've got it. No, I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'll
funny.
send you a clip if you
Yeah,
want it.
okay. Well, not. Yeah, that was funny. And obviously these clips behind you, although they weren't doing quite what they're doing in this episode, were back. I like the fact that we saw another ship, which was kind of like they were putting together to make it look like a Federation ship, but it wasn't, and all this sort of stuff. Although it's it's not the strongest episode, but I liked it. Now this episode's got a lesser rating on Internet Movie Database than the next one, which was the Court Martial one. That's got an 8.5, and the Broken Circle's got a 7.6. For some reason, I preferred the Broken Circle. But this, go on.
I think when it came back, there were a lot of fanfare for it, and I think everybody were expecting like the defining first episode, the big shock-a-do, for the whole.
Oh, it didn't do that. No, it didn't do that. No, it didn't get that. No, it was more of a standalone.
The only issue I've got, and I have to agree with you on this, I did enjoy the episode. I found it very clever. I like to think about the human rights and all that, but there should have been a B plot going on in this.
This is what we said, yeah. It was,
and there were no B plot. It was just focused on the kit. There should have been like what Spock were up to on the ship with the crew, and all this. There should have been something else going on in the background. I did like the thing about the Gorn hegemony at the border of the Federation,
which was a link to later on, because obviously we've seen the Gorn,
and they haven't really played on that. I thought that'd start up like a story arc from say episode 7 that they built with the Gorn, and they did. They put that in, and then we got the cliffhanger of the Gorn.
Yep, we did
in episode 10, which is quite interesting. Why they did that? Because I thought though, like for 3 episodes, we were going to start building that side of it up.
Bit like the Dominion build-up in DS9 season 2 kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree about that. It didn't quite go that way. I don't mind it though. Like I said, even compared to like DS9's early seasons, this is much more standalone. Well, no, DS9 was quite standalone in the early seasons as well, but it's just got a good vibe. So obviously Una Riley eventually she doesn't she request asylum or something? How does she get out of it? How does she get out of it in the end? From being court-martialed. What was it?
They come out with some twisted law about accepting people. I forgot what it was. Very
clever. What it was. It was
because that lawyer, she was genetically altered.
Oh, that's right.
You know what I mean? And on Earth, if you like genetically altered, because she said when she was growing up that you're an augment and all this, you know what I mean? But they're another race though, aren't they? So it doesn't really matter, does it?
I mean, obviously, I thought that the genetic engineering was only based on humans, not humanoids. You know what I mean?
But they were living on Earth, though, weren't there? There's quite a lot of augments living on Earth, though.
Yeah,
and there must have been descendants from the original lot as well.
I guess.
I suppose so. I mean, it was interesting, you know. But I mean, there is a few sort of like, well, I don't want to bring this up. I'll bring it up. It's about the final episode.
Right. Well, let's link it up when we get there, because like I said, that's fair enough. But that was anyway. I mean, the episode was okay. It was almost an hour long. It's quite a long episode. And if anything, if it could have been like a normal original length episode, about 44 minutes or something, it might have actually. For me, the pacing was an issue, and the fact that just the courtroom, I just don't remember it that well. It's weird. It's just not stuck with me. It was one of the most most forgettable episodes of season 2, even though it's still highly regarded by a lot of people. Episode 3 was an interesting one, and it was called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and it was a La'an character episode, which alternate. Federation. It wasn't a Federation, and we have got a different Kirk, and they go back in time. What did you think of this episode?
I thought it was interesting, but well, they can't go into the Khan story because he's not been discovered yet, has he? So
no, but they're saying now that it's a temporal thing, and things have been slightly altered. What is interesting that a lot of people are saying that basically, Strange New Worlds is based on an alternate timeline since. The Borg from First Contact went back in time, and then Enterprise encountered the Borg at one point, and apparently in the original timeline the NX-01 was destroyed, and so this is why like you never saw the NX-01 like on Picard's ready room in like it's all crap. It's just trying to make ways to stop the discontinuity.
Just accept it for what it is.
I mean, in the end, you got to just think, well, it's a TV show, you know.
I think I'd say time got altered slightly. I think there's been like a minute effect. It's just certain. Oh, it's knocked back a few things, but they've had to. If they want to rebuild canon around this, things have to start making sense, and that's what they're trying.
It's aren't they too far gone now already?
Well, there has been a few mess ups, as you would say. I mean, Kirk still meets Khan. It's still the same Khan. It's just that Khan
was born 40 years later or something.
He's early 21st century now.
Rather than
he's like 2040 or something like that when he does his thing.
But I mean,
he's still floating in space. He will be different slightly, but he will be the same person but slightly different. You know, get Dr. Owen, he'll sort it out. Well, no, I think he's got his own problems. Sorry, Dr. Who fans. Sorry, Dr. Who fans.
Sorry. That made me laugh. Sorry, that just. So he's got his own problems. Yeah, I mean, in the end, I think you get to the point now that basically, you know, until Enterprise, they really did stick with canon. You know, when like we had the original TOS bridge and stuff featured on that show, and the
Well, and Enterprise were very clever in some
It was really
aspects.
good. It was really good.
I mean, they covered the whole Klingon thing, didn't they? You know, about
they
the
did.
humanoid.
You're changing. Yeah.
And then Worf said in Deep Space Nine,
We do not talk about it with
we
outsiders.
don't talk about it.
Yeah,
But you did get a free story episode.
Augmented.
And it's a fantastic arc. You know, and I thought, you know, I think Enterprise, they really did try to sort certain things out.
So do you think they really, do you wish they'd have stuck close to the original 60s vibe looking Enterprise, or, you know, because they've made it now that it's impossible that it's going to look like William Shatner's Kirk on the original series when it's finished. It's
Let me put a question towards you.
Go on.
If you were a member of Starfleet, who would you want to serve under? Pike or Kirk?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because, all right, all the chicks get the miniskirts and the big boots. Not complaining about that. But, I mean, Kirk's Enterprise, I mean, everybody's got smaller quarters. It's all a bit different. It's like there's big cutbacks, isn't it? It's like they've had cutbacks. And then when Pike's in charge, it's like luxurious quarters.
Yeah,
you know.
Huge. They got like a sort of like almost like a 10 forward place.
Kirk's apartment didn't look like that.
No, it was a bit basic, wasn't it?
Bed, wasn't
yeah, it was a bit basic.
And a desk. So what happened? So what? And then they cut back on technology as well. I'm only. I know where you're going. Star Trek Continues made it work.
Oh. Yeah,
they brought in the 60s stuff, added some modern stuff.
And they did it in such a respectful way.
And they did it. And could they have done that with this? Could they have done that?
I would like to have seen it with this. I wouldn't have minded it.
I think they could have still had the holographics and all that with the old panels. I think it could have been done, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do like the bridge of Pike's ship. I do like it.
But, I mean, the thing is, really, what they should have done, really, is they should have made Star Trek Strange New Worlds not on Pike's ship. They should have been, Anson Mount should have been another Starfleet captain with a different crew. You know, the problem is that they keep going back. It's like watching the season. Like the last episode, we see Christine Chapel in a bad state on the, is it Kyoga, the sister ship of the Enterprise?
Yeah.
And you think, well, look, she's going to survive. You know, this is the problem with prequels. You know who's going to survive because you see them in the future, even though it looks different. So, in some ways, I don't know. I mean, I could have seen it rather than being the Starship Enterprise and Captain Pike. It could have been the Starship Exeter and I don't know, Captain Phillips or something. And yeah, and then they could have, you know, had another Vulcan or something. They could have done it in a way, and then and then they could also explain why the ship looks different.
I think, yeah. I mean, there is these questions, but it's the casting in this series.
Casting's great. It's just using
it's
the characters that they're trying to do. It's not the casting. They've got great actors, but I just don't know whether they could have had all those actors in slightly different characters' names on another Federation starship, and it wouldn't have crossed over with TOS. Yeah. That's the issue I have with that, I think. I mean, I'm fine with it. I still love it for what it is. I'm just going along with it every week. I just
think you just accept it now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Starfleet, decided to re-engineer the ship in that way, maybe to get more crew. I think he's got 200 on board when Kirk's in charge of 400.
Unless
more labs on the ship.
Unless in the last episode it gets really, really beaten up, the Enterprise, and they had to completely refit the whole thing.
Well,
it's literally
60s one.
Yeah, and they go to sort of like a very kind of DIY cheapskate starbase, like Starbase 89. Where they've got all these like knackered kind of crews, and they've only got the basic resources, and all they could do, because the ship can't walk back to Earth, is they've got to rebuild it all the way out there. And unfortunately, because of that, it looks like cack.
I don't think so. I mean, Starfleet Command have got money, haven't they? I mean, Starfleet does like to spend money on stuff, don't
unless they go to an Orion dealer or something. I don't
So what happens to money then? Because by the time we get to Picard Century, nobody has money.
They haven't got money at
I
this point,
they haven't explained that. I've read.
And how come we're seeing replicators? You're not supposed to see replicators in the 21st century.
I don't know. There's a lot of bloody things you're not meant to say. Where's the miniskirts and the big...
Well, no, we're all looking forward to that, though, aren't we?
Yeah, well...
So that was tomorrow and tomorrow. So that was quite a good, interesting episode, because we see Kirk, we see the La'an dynamic, we see the young Khan, which was a bit of a weird, but I can accept it.
I have a theory. I have a theory. You might not agree with me, but
go on.
Last night we saw Scotty, so we've had Chapel, Uhura.
Next year we'll see McCoy and Sulu.
McCoy's definitely next season. Yeah, he's next season.
Or Sulu. Probably more likely to be McCoy.
It'd be Sulu or McCoy.
Yeah, exactly. They're obviously going to have one classic character per season.
Are you starting to wonder that they are building the crew for some kind of original series spin-off with them? It won't surprise me, you know.
I've
they're
heard
bringing them out, though. They're all coming in.
I think they've been asked that before, and they said they're not going to go that way.
Somebody put up a meme on Facebook the other day. I think I posted it. And it's a picture of the original cast, and each one's been replaced by one of these new ones.
Yeah.
And there's like 5 of them now.
Well, you can easily Photoshop the faces
Solo,
and stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's really weird.
Well, I'm just saying, I wonder when he has his accident, right? And then Kirk comes in. Obviously, Kirk's the next captain. Do all this lot come in and replace? Do
you think the last episode will see the accident? We'll see the beginning of the proper link to the TOS.
Yeah, I do. I do. I think
they've got to approach that. They've got to approach the accident.
It's going to be a sad episode.
Yeah, it will be a sad episode.
Seeing him like that. Yeah, because I don't want to see it. Do you remember what they said when they did crossover? He said they're all wearing it in future. He said, we all dress up as you at Halloween parties. Remember they said it to him? Remember that?
Was that because he's deformed? Is that why they do it?
Yeah.
I never clicked on that. Oh, God.
This is what they did, that Boimler said.
Boimler.
He said, she coming, the girl, the woman.
I can't remember, yeah.
And she said, you're quite popular at Halloween parties. And he's like, what? I
never clicked on that until you said.
No, I did.
I've only seen that episode.
They just said that.
I need to watch that again.
I felt right sorry for him.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want this to happen to him.
But going back to Discovery season 2, you see his reaction to his death in that Klingon monastery, where he actually. And like I said, Discovery season 2. It's not as bad watching it again.
No, it's the best one.
It's definitely the best season in season 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, that was tomorrow, which is a good time travel episode. Next one was Among the Lotus Eaters.
Remind me what happened.
Synopsis. Returning to a planet that dredges up tragic memories, Captain Pike.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one where he goes back to, is it, not Session 3, what was it called?
No, I forgot. He's in his pilot episode.
I can't think. It's something 7.
With a big castle,
That's it, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was quite a good episode.
I loved it. Do you know what I liked about that?
So.
The scene that did it for me, and that you realised how nasty he could be. Because when he beat that ex-officer of his up at took over planet, he would he'd have killed him. He would have killed him. He'd have got so bad, he would not verge of killing it. Only because his memory returned.
Actually, that's right. Yeah.
And that's what I found. There's a darker side.
That's because they have the memory goes, isn't it? They lose their memories.
But there's a darker side that exists within him.
Yeah, but we've seen flashes of that before anyway. But it's good that they actually sort of like focused on
Yeah,
that.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I like that episode.
I mean, if you had a choice, if you knew that was going to happen to you, I mean, I'd change my future. Fuck that.
Yeah,
I
but
won't
you see,
care
yeah,
less
but
than
he already had that in the last episode of season
Yeah, I
one,
know,
where
but I just said
he seems to be more kind of like accepting that's his fate. I don't know that's a realistic thing. I don't think he would.
No, well, I wouldn't. Because if somebody from the future said you can't do it, I'm doing it. Creates an alternative timeline. Sod you.
Yeah, well, they tried to give him that opportunity, which is why they counted the Romulans and it all went back. You know, it's really bad kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they try to use that as an excuse as to why, at the moment, he's accepting his fate, which I'm still a bit dubious about that as we go along.
It does leave that open quite a bit to question.
And that's bound to come back. That storyline's bound to come back. Well, before I forget, we still haven't seen Cybok return. We saw Cybok at the back of his head in season 1 in one brief scene. And I thought we'd see Spock's brother again. We haven't seen him yet.
I think they're keeping it. Well, I think that's like a story thread that we'll put in just in case we have an idea to do something with him.
It might not, though. It might be that.
We might not see him.
Might never see him again.
That might be just it. We saw that.
Yeah. But at least it's a nice
link.
link.
What they're going to do with it?
I don't know.
He's on another uprising again. You know. I trust me, after Star Trek 5, I wasn't impressed with Cyber.
Oh dear, Star Trek 5, yeah. Episode 5 was Charades. This is the shuttle accident that leads to Spock's Vulcan DNA being removed by aliens.
Loved it.
Making him fully human and completely unprepared to face the Pring's family. Yeah, a lot of comedy in this one again.
Loved it.
Very funny episode, yeah.
And saying Spock looked like a human was hilarious.
Acting and trying to hide it because, And Ethan Peck really pulled it off again. Really like Ethan Peck as well. I like all the actors in this.
Oh, he's very good.
Really good. Funny.
You know, I've accepted him now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think. Do you think I have to ask you a question before we move on?
Yeah, go on.
Do you think he's better than Zachary Quinto?
Actually, they met up recently at a Comic-Con.
Okay, right.
And they actually met up for the first time. And Zachary was saying that basically, you know, because he's dubious about the Kelvin movies ever continuing. He said, look, you know, you are now the inheritor of this. Yeah, and he said he felt a bit like when he met Leonard Nimoy when he was actually filming the actual films. And now he's sort of met Ethan Peck, who's kind of like that next generation down. And I still want to see him. I think Zachary did a good job in the movies, though.
I thought I liked Zachary.
I really did. I think he really had it. But I like Ethan Peck as well. But I like Ethan Peck because he does feel like a younger, less experienced Spock. And he gets it really well. Whereas Zachary,
you could watch him grow over the next decade.
And he reminds me of actually Leonard Nimoy in The Cage when he was a younger Spock and a bit there. And he's got it. And
quick story on Zachary Quinto.
Go on.
Quick story. I was on the bus in Holborn. And it was about 11 o'clock in the morning, beautiful day. I was on the bus and saw this guy, right? And he had a dog with him and he had a bobble hat on. And I noticed his eyes. I thought, my God, he looks intense.
Yeah.
It used to look really scary and intense, like the look of him. And I thought, you just noticed him. And I thought, I know him. And then I looked back and I thought, my God, it's Spock.
What's he over here for?
It was him walking because he was doing a play.
Okay. So
they must have been staying somewhere in Holborn and walking to face. But the intensity on his face and his eyes, I thought, I know him. God, he'd be scary. And then I realised it's Mr. Spock. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. That's great. It's so weird when you see people you recognise on TV, but seeing a character in Star Trek would be even better. I mean, you know, when I've seen, I saw Patrick Stewart twice in the theatre. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I saw his one-man show years ago.
And he was in the Chichester Theatre, and he was literally about 3 meters away from me, and I got a buzz out of that.
Oh God, yeah! I mean,
he just pulled oh my God, he was fantastic.
Proper Shakespearean.
I mean, I'm not into all that stuff, but I just went there to see him. But
he is an actor.
Oh God, yeah, he's a fantastic actor. Right, episode 6 was Lost in Translation, where Uhura seems to be the only one who can hear a strange sound that seems to trigger terrifying hallucinations. This is when we heard that weird ringing sort of sound, and then you saw like a zombie hammer at one point. I don't remember that episode that well, actually. I don't
I think with that one, it was like a standard episode. We've had that in Next Gen, DS9, the original.
Yeah. It didn't. That one didn't stick
aliens trying to communicate with you in a strange way.
And she, they have done it before. They've done it before.
Yeah, it's been done numerous times, just a different way about it. But I thought it's all right.
Yeah.
It's a filler episode.
Yeah, it was a middle of the road
Nothing
kind of
new.
thing. It wasn't bad. It wasn't
Nothing
fantastic.
new.
It was fine. That was all right. And that's actually quite a low rated episode. I'll tell you what the lowest rated episode is at the end of this. You'll probably know what it is.
Okay.
Episode 7. Those old scientists. An accident while investigating a time portal sends ensigns Beckett Mariner and Brad Boimer. Yeah, it's Mariner's the other character. Through from the 24th century, and Captain Pike and his crew must get them back. So, like I said, I've seen some of the animated stuff, although I think it's very well made. It's just not quite on my wavelength. Everybody, including me, who's seen it, they really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it as well?
I thought, yeah, I did. You see, with this series, you see, why I'm so impressed with Strange New Worlds is because the writers, you know, we live in an age of remake and let's flog a dead cat until it's dead, you know, until there's nothing. And that's right, what we are living in that.
Yeah, very much.
When they make multi-billion-dollar productions, they just flop. But I found what I like about this series, the writers are prepared to take a risk. And they went where there's been several, we're in episode 7 and several episodes, they've took risks with the cast.
Yeah.
And they've took the lead actor back and put up the lesser characters into bigger roles. I like all this. I like where it humanises them, you connect with them. I thought superb episode. I thought it was very cleverly done. I like the cartoon crossover, and I like the humour when they saw the cartoon ending when they were all up going, our eyes are bigger and all. I found that quite funny because they're taking the piss out of themselves, but they've took a lot of risks with this, and it's nice to see that. It really is.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm watching Star Trek.
Yeah, I know. I'm not disputing that at all. It's you know, I mean, I will say this, although I'll actually reinforce this at the end, but I think that 2023 for Star Trek live action has been the best year since 2005 when we had the last season of Enterprise. You know, you've had Picard season 3 and you've had this. I mean, plus you had the animated stuff for people who like that as well.
They're on the track now. They're on the.
Next year it's not going to be as good though. I'm telling you that next year it's not going to be such a good year. But you know, in the end,
don't spoil next year. Don't.
Well, no, I know, but it's just that we should get Strange New World season 3 next year. We haven't got, and they're all ready to go.
Have they filmed it back to back?
No. This is what I'm saying. We might not even
you've
get
destroyed next year. For me.
No. Well, we have Discovery season 5, but Discovery season 5.
Right,
I mean, like I said.
Right. Yeah. Really looking forward to that. Do you know? Probably that we'll get that, and that'll be amazing. It'd be like, wow, that was fantastic.
Well, they might have learnt it. They might have learnt their mistakes. I mean, they are definitely, really are coming back. I think.
Okay.
Episode 8 was Under the Cloak of War, which was a quite interesting Klingon episode with Mbenga. With this, what do you think? I mean, it was very much like the Siege of AR 588 with the war scenes and the for the Klingons attacking.
And I like the dark past of Mbenga being a mass killer and a special trained,
special sort of like warrior.
SAS type
soldier thing.
Assassin, military secret soldier. I liked all that because he's an amazing character, but he's prepared. He will kill if he has to. He's got.
But I still wonder what's going to happen to his character because he's going to be demoted at some point because we see him on TOS twice. And he was just like another member of the...
We do,
and he's not in charge of him, McCoy's in charge. So that's going to be interesting.
When he's slapping Spock across the face.
Yeah, because he's trying to get him out of... wake him out from his...
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be... I mean, I love his character. I think the actor that plays him is fantastic. And he's a fascinating character.
Yeah, I like him. He's very different. Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I like.
Every character's so good in this show. Every actor in this character is so good.
I will put this point here. You know Ortega, so I like
Ortega's as well. She's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's funny.
Great humour.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
They mentioned in that episode the Klingon Federation war caused 100 million casualties, right?
Yeah.
That's how many people died. I don't know how many on the Klingon side, probably in the millions. But on the Federation side, I think it was 100 million. Right, now, Burnham, this is all because Burnham caused all that.
Yeah.
No, she did.
I know.
And, and within 1-2 seasons of her causing that, 100 million people died because of her stupidity. And then she's flying around on Discovery as if it's not a problem.
Well, and then she goes to the future. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But
and how come in the future she's not renowned for the person who caused the war? How come by the 30?
Well,
why is she not sort of like known about? Because everyone thinks the Discovery gets destroyed.
Yeah.
But surely in history she was the one that approached the Klingon Chancellor and killed all that sort of stuff in the early episodes.
That stuff, but also as well that with her when she caused this war. Her name would be written. Her name in the 23rd century.
It'd be like Khan. It would be like
forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
But what she did.
That's not. Well, that was such a mess the first season with this war anyway, because we didn't really see much of the war.
No, we didn't.
And it was very underplayed. It was all going on in the background. It was strange.
We don't know exactly who won it either, do we? It was like won it a ceasefire or something.
I know in the last episode they were approaching Earth and something made them turn back. But it wasn't. It didn't make it. Yeah, the last episode of season 1 of Discovery, there was because they redesigned the ships. They had these. Even the ships didn't look right.
No, they
there was
didn't.
one scene where you saw them approaching Earth, get towards Earth, and they turn around at the last minute. I think it was the last episode.
That's it. Yeah, they were on the planet and they had a device.
They changed their mind.
Core planet or something. It could.
Oh, that's it.
Crown.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Sorry, mate. That's it.
That's what it was.
Yeah. But maybe.
But because she was instigating the ceasefire.
Yes, she did.
So maybe she sort of like cancelled it out. I don't know.
Well, 100 million people dead. I mean, we're seeing the tragedies. Look at Nurse Chapel. She's all messed up from it. Dr. Mbenga is.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if she walks on that ship, I bet they'd want to kill her if she turned up. Well, they would do. I mean, it'd be interesting. Oh, look, it's Burnham, her that caused the war, but she made up for it.
Discovery season 1 was just such a mess. It really was such a mess. It really was. And I'm amazed how good season 2 was actually. Now
sorry for bringing that point.
No, don't mind. I think it's interesting to talk about it. Episode 9, which actually is the lowest rated episode of season 2 of this Strange New Worlds, is Subspace Rhapsody with only a 6.9. An accident with an experimental quantum probability field causes everyone on the Enterprise to break uncontrollably into song, but the real danger is in the field expanding and beginning to impact them. We talked about this many times. We've only just seen it. Subspace Rhapsody. I would never want to see it again. But for the one instance, for the music, for the fact that most of the actors really can sing well, it really worked. It was funny.
Well, can I just go back a sec? Why wouldn't you want to see it again?
I wouldn't want to see the storyline repeated again because
I don't
mean. I don't mind watching the episode again. That's what I meant. But they couldn't do it twice with a very similar thing. It's a one-off thing, and it really worked. But I'm not a big fan of musicals anyway, which is why. But yeah, I loved it. It was a very strange idea, but it's something.
I loved it.
Definitely.
I mean, it was nothing new because they did it with Buffy, didn't they? Didn't they do it in a couple of series?
I've heard that. I've never seen those ones.
Yeah, it's been years since I watched Buffy, but there were a couple of series back then where Buffy was the first to do it, turn an episode, and then some other series. They all had like some episode where I think Charm did it as well. I went in and out with Charm, never bothered with it. But
no.
It was like one episode that where they're all dancing around and singing, But Buffy were the first. I think with this, they took a risk with that. And I'm surprised it was the lowest rated episode. I enjoyed it for
it was a bit like Marmite.
Harmless fun.
Most people, my mate, he couldn't stand it, but I mean, most people. A lot of people liked it. Not everyone liked it. I think it was definitely more of a win than a lose. But these ratings on these things aren't very accurate sometimes. They just have these weird kind of things where everyone we hate it. Let's get everybody together who hates it, and let's get them voting and stuff. I don't know. The last episode, episode 10, Hegemony, which we've already talked about roughly, loosely. There's not really much. You said there was one point about earlier on in the season you wanted to come back to Hegemony, didn't you, with the Gorn? Didn't you? Did you say something about that?
Yeah, I thought we were going to get like a free episode arc.
That's it. That's
but we didn't. I was surprised they went with the cliffhanger ending. It reminded very much of Next Generation album.
Yeah, the to be
I
continued.
wasn't expecting that last night because I was watching it and I was really into it. And
Well, it's the first
and it
time.
just cut off to be continued. You know when he stood there?
Yeah,
and
it's the
Captain,
first
what
time.
do we do?
First time we've seen to be continued actually on a banner, on a screen since Enterprise. We've not had a to be continued. It's just the episode ends, but this is a proper cliffhanger. You know, what's Pike going to do, and you know.
What about the Battle of Cestus 3? Did that happen then?
The Gorn?
Yeah.
Well, also, for one thing, how come the Gorn has suddenly got a tail?
Well, I think the Gorn had the tail in Enterprise, didn't it?
I don't think it did.
Oh, it didn't.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And also, the Gorn in that episode was on the Defiant, and the Defiant was in a vacuum, and the Gorn was able to survive. How come the Gorn in this episode?
It's in a parallel universe.
Yeah, all right. Okay. But it's getting more of a discontinuity between the rubber suited.
Yeah, they're doing
Gorn.
it. Yeah.
But then I suppose you could always say there might be different.
By time Next Generation, DS9, the Gorn. There's a Gorn as a restaurant on a space station.
Was there?
On a Federation space station, yeah.
Because we never really heard much about this.
DS9, it's mentioned. There you go into the Gorn restaurant.
Oh, I didn't.
You know, so obviously relationship. They are very civilized at Gorn, you know.
Well, they're very complicated, aren't they? Because they're very
but they've got poetry and music, and they are quite, you know, they're not like primitive. The technology is equal to Federation. You know, well, I don't know if they're as big as Federation. I mean, I've read some books about them, but that's in the book. I'm on back canon. It is mentioned as a Gorn restaurant, so I assume that some of them are friendly. It's just probably.
I'd like to see them again. If they ever make Legacy, then it'd be great to see the Gorn again in the more.
Well, it would be, yeah.
You know.
But you're right. It did have a tail. I mean, it did look good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's fine.
It did look good.
Yeah, it's fine. It was good.
And
what did you What do you think of the visuals of the actual sister ship being blown up and going? They had some great visuals of the last episode.
That's fantastic special effects. I mean,
really good visuals, very cinematic.
Especially the outside stuff in the space. So
yeah, when they float above the bridge,
yeah,
and that was really good.
Yeah, put the money into it. I mean, you can't say they hadn't. It was superb.
Yeah.
It's very clever. I would have liked one more episode.
Well, I still keep hoping that on Thursday we're going to get a surprise extra episode. I know we're not going to, but it'd be great if we did. Well, look, we're nearly out with the Zoom again, so let's wrap it up. How would you rate Strange New World season 2 out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Okay. I'm going to give it.
It's only because of episode 2 without a B plot.
I'm going to give it a 9. I think that it's very similar. Episode 2.
Yeah.
But I tell you one thing. It's actually lost half a point compared to yours for the simple reason that the season's too short. If they'd have just done 5 more episodes in a similar context to what they've done, and it was a 15-episode season, then I think it would have gone up because it's just too short. You're really getting into it, and that's it.
I think 15 episodes should be next season.
10's
to
too
be
short.
honest.
10 is just too short, and that's. I know that it's just the nature of the way
it's getting better, isn't it? It's just getting better, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And now, and it's not their fault. We've got a huge gap now until next year, so it's kind of like it's going to be a long way. But we'll be there. We'll be reviewing it. We love it, and I'm just really grateful that we have this content. So I'm going to wrap things up now. Martin, thank you very much for reviewing this with me. It's been a really good one.
Yep.
Next week we're talking about reviewing the classic 50s B horror movie, The Blob. Which I've not seen that for a long time, but I saw something about you on your channel, so I'd like to check that out again and give that a rewatch. Until then, I'm going to finish with basically Stargate SG-1 did an episode called I think it's called Window of Opportunity. It was the time loop one, and there was an alternate take where they're playing golf and going into the Stargate, but this was an alternate take. And what I did was I mixed in my own green screen effects and sound effects to make it look like it was more like the original. It's not fantastic, but I just thought it's worth a share on here. Obviously, if you listen to this on audio, you won't get this bit because you won't know what's going on. You won't get benefit, but sorry about that, guys. Martin, thank you very much. We'll see you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Live long and prosper.
You too, Marker. And action. Give it a ride, big guy.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That'll play. So how far is Alaris?
Several billion miles.
It's gotta be a record.
Who need?
Thank you, too.
What the hell are you doing? Hey, we're golfing in here!
Ain't got it.